Good morning, everyone. It's South Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing fine and everyone's recovering from the elements that was last night. Manchester United losing by 2-0 against Newcastle United at Old Trafford. I mean, you know what? I never thought I'd be in this position to be talking about relegation, but at the moment it is looking a bit precarious because Manchester United have none other than Liverpool away next game. So obviously it's going to be a very, very worrying time for Manchester United. Of course, we have to weather this storm. We have to make sure we don't overreact. It is early days. It's still 1 month into Ruben Amorim's tenure. But one thing we have to do is make sure that we place our blame and we place the responsibilities in the right direction. Let's not get malicious with our blame, because at the end of the day, it is not one thing. It is a few things that is wrong with Manchester United. As we've always said, many of us, that changing the manager won't change a thing. And when Erik ten Hag was the manager of Manchester United, what did I say? Changing the manager won't change a thing. Absolutely. And what's going on now? It's got worse, hasn't it? Thank you very much. Basically, what I've been saying for a very, very long time, guys. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, I support Ruben Amorim until the end, because at the end of the day, I know that he is not the sole problem at the football club. The football club has fundamental issues running deep, from top to bottom. Whether you talk about the team, man, or you talk about the manager of the football club, there's problems at this football club. And obviously the problem stems from the old name, the Glazers. Of course, a big dark cloud hovers around Manchester United when the Glazers are still in charge. When Ineos came to Man United with their 27% purchase of the football club, we all knew and we envisioned that this will be a problem, because we wanted a full sale. Qatar were there. Qatar were going to buy the full club. They offered $6 billion, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe came along and he facilitated the Glazers to stay. Now, the Glazers would have left if Jim Ratcliffe was not there, because Manchester United need a new stadium. Man United need investment. And the Glazers couldn't afford it. But Jim Ratcliffe came with a 27% buy of the club, which obviously, you know what, to me, it was like a going to bed with the Glazers, in my opinion. And I don't think anyone, and I said it back then, I don't think anyone can call themselves a Manchester United fan if they got a Chelsea season ticket at the end of the day. And then you're calling yourself a Man United fan, and then you're going against Qatar because you know what, they just, they're not like you. That's all. And that's the problem within the whole takeover process. But let's forget about that for now. Let's talk about what happened with Manchester United. And last night was absolutely diabolical, atrocious, ridiculous, lethargic, unprofessional, incompetent. I mean, I can throw out all the analogies there under the sun. To be honest with you, they will be correct. Man United were absolutely diabolical from start to finish. I didn't see no press. I didn't see no effort. I didn't see no heart. I saw players there like they were on the sunbed. Do you know what I mean? That's what I saw. I saw players there who were already in the summer holidays. That's what I saw. And I saw a Newcastle team who came to Old Trafford and just easily took a 2-goal lead. I mean, I've never seen 2 goals scored at Old Trafford so easily, especially in the opening stages. Guys, let me just get through some of these comments real quickly. Big up, Rasta. Good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Just got home from work. Bless up, Sal. We are going to start. Big up, Rasta. You understand the game, don't you? You understand the process. Of course, big up. Going to get some rest, Sal. Have a good rest, my brother. A good one, mate. Have a good one. Don't forget to like Stringer. Thank you, Rasta. Thank you, man. Don't forget to support my boy Rasta Stocks, of course. Temescan, how you doing, my friend Deliso? Hope you're doing well. United, I want to Darnit Omo, Nico Williams, Osman, and Nino Mendes. Kirkes, United is better for next year. One thing I would say, Deliso, one thing we would say at the moment, this whole problem stems way beyond players. All right. This is something that is a culture of the football club. There's a culture of the football club. Now, small things. I was raised in supporting Man United from the greatest manager of all time. And I obviously picked up many traits from that manager. And I learned what that manager did, never to give up, always to give you all, always to be professional. Every little detail counts. Every detail counts. Whether that's the way you put on your boots, whether it's the way you sleep, whether it's the way you eat, whether it's the way what you do in your personal life. As I said, Sir Alex Ferguson, before he would sign a player, he would invite that player for dinner, right? And his family. He would not only do that, he would not talk about football to that player or the family. What he would talk about is, what do you do in your personal life? Are you married? What do you like? What's your hobbies? Blah, blah. He would ask players these type of questions so that he signs the character. He don't just sign the footballer. He signs the character. You can have a really talented footballer, very talented footballer, but if the attitude and application is not there, there's no point having that footballer. Just like we saw, obviously, with Xerxes, who came from Bologna in Italy, and you know what, was one of the players of the season, signed for Man United, and he's probably one of our worst signings in our history. Got pulled off after 20 minutes. You know, and this is the whole point. What I'm talking about is that you have to sign a character. We can't just say, oh, we want Danny Olmo, we want Nico Williams, we want Osimhen, we want Nuno Mendes. We do. I mean, and I hope that some of these players are going to be good characters for the football club. But one thing I would say is that, you know what, we have to be very careful who we sign now, because right now the signings are not working. It's not just the players that have been there for 10 years. It's the players that have been here for a year, you know, less than a year, you know, and that is a bit concerning for me, in my opinion. Sunny, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're good. Dream on if we can get Omo, Nico. I mean, at the moment, who would want to come to Man United right now? Let's be honest, guys. Who would want to come to Man United right now? That deserves a gulp of coffee. Chow, Amarim said we don't have the money to spend in January. Ineos out, Glazers out. Thank you very much, Chow. Look, at the end of the day, what did we say, right? We could have had Qatar, right? And because they don't wear Reebok pumps and they don't go to the fish and chip shop every afternoon, people didn't want them at Manchester United. They want a Manchester born and bred. That's what they wanted. Even though the man who took charge of Manchester United, 27%, is a Chelsea season ticket holder. He's from Manchester, but he's a Chelsea season ticket holder. Now, tell me this, right? People could say, oh, look, you know what? He's got a Chelsea season ticket. So what? He's got a Chelsea. Why ain't he got a Man United season ticket then? If he's a Man United born and bred, why ain't he got? He's a billionaire. He can get a Man United season ticket. He can have a box at Man United. Why ain't he got that? It doesn't make sense. The only reason that he took the people wanted Jim Ratcliffe at the football club is because basically he looks like them. That was it. And that was it. And now, look, we're suffering. Now we have to get a loan from the government to get a new stadium. Our stadium is leaking. It's leaking. You know, and my goodness me, God forbid, you know what? Some of the infrastructure at Old Trafford right now is rusting. We're on the road to disaster, you know, at the end of the day. Something terrible could happen, God forbid. And you know what? This needs to change. Penny pinching is not going to get Man United to the top. That's not what's going to happen. Man United need a complete clear. Now, Man United have players on £370,000 a week, right? And those players are not even playing. Now, these players are on 3 or 4 year contracts. So if Man United wanted to get rid of those players, they're going to find it very difficult because, yes, other teams can afford the transfer fee, but they can't afford their wages. So what do Man United have to do? They're going to have to take a big hit on the transfer fee. So they'll probably have to sell them for peanuts or pay off their contract, which is going to cost absolutely enormous amounts of money, which Qatar could have done. You know, they could have done that easily, you know, at the end of the day. It's disgraceful, isn't it? What's happened at this football club? You know, one thing I would say is that what's been happening at this football club over the last, since Alex Ferguson left, since the Glazers have been there, to be honest with you, it's been nothing short of criminal, you know, nothing short of criminal, in my opinion. Big up, Sunny. Wa alaikum salam. Hope you're doing well. Morning, Sal. Yesterday, I noticed senior players arguing Kesa and Leacher and Maguire. It's like chaos all over the place. Like, I think best way. Look, you know what? You know, I agree, Afro Soup. Big up Afro Soup, by the way. I agree what you're saying, Afro Soup. I really do. But one thing we have to say is that, you know, I don't mind a bit of friction in the team. Man United won the treble, right? Man United won, you know, the best team of Man United team of all time had players in that team that didn't get on with each other. Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, for example, they hated each other. They didn't speak to each other for a whole year, you know, but Man United won the treble. And they are both instrumental in Man United winning the treble and becoming the best team in the world. You know, the thing is that the problem is that we have a bunch of players that are blaming each other on the pitch. You know, they're blaming each other. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Now, look, I look at the 2 goals yesterday, and the goals were on the defense, definitely. Now, we can talk about zonal marking. We can talk about man marking. We can talk about all that. You know, at the end of the day, they train all week, you know, and to get this right. And in the opening exchanges against Newcastle, all I saw was incompetence, lack of concentration. I mean, it looked like when Isaac scored the first goal for Newcastle, it looked like he couldn't believe his luck. He couldn't believe, like, I'm so open. Why? I mean, I've headed this ball into the goal. Is this a goal or what? As the play stopped, it was like that, wasn't it? At the end of the day, and to be honest with you, I mean, I was lost for words myself, because I've never seen a goal at Old Trafford scored so easily. I mean, I'm telling you, and to be honest with you, you know, it's getting, every single time Man United play these days, it's like we're getting to a new low. It's like, you know what I mean, that game when you have to, how low can you go? It's like that. Do you know what I mean? I can go even lower. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with Man United at the moment. It is absolutely a nightmare. But one thing I would urge everyone in regards to this chat, in regards to this community, is do not turn against the manager. Ruben Amorim is 39 years old. He came from the Portuguese league, Sporting Lisbon, absolutely sweeping everyone aside, winning everything in front of him, doing well in the Champions League as well. Before anyone says the Portuguese league is weak, he's doing well in the Champions League, the biggest competition in Europe, of course, and smashed up Man City 4-1 just a couple of months ago, didn't he? You know, so at the end of the day, what we have to look at is that Ruben Amorim has come into this football club halfway through the season. We're already doing badly. He's trying to implement a style of football that is unique, it's different. These players do not have the IQ to play that football. With a bunch of players that are not his, added to the fact we have the same old murmurs, how do you say it? Mumblings behind the scenes, like Marcus Rashford, things like that, you know, and off-field issues again. And this is one thing that I'm starting to get tired of, you know. So the best thing for Manchester United to do is to clear house, is to get a new team. But how do we get a new team? How? Because so many of those players are on astronomical contracts. You can't just say to a player, this is not Sainsbury's. You can't say to someone, no, you're not here anymore. You're unemployed. You know what I mean? That's it. Here's 1 week's wage. It's not like that. You have to pay off their contract. If you want to get rid of a player, you have to pay off their contract, or another team has to be in for them. Another team has to want to buy them. Now, when Man United say they want to sell Marcus Rashford, now they've left themselves a little bit exposed, because now every team in Europe are going to say, well, Man United don't want Marcus Rashford, so we can offer anything we want. You're going to be pressurized into selling Marcus Rashford to us because, you know what, he's unhappy. You don't want him at the club. So we have, the cards are in our hands, you know, and that's the problem, you know. I felt sorry for Xerxes yesterday when Xerxes got pulled off after 20 minutes. He got booed by the Man United faithful, of course, fans. He got booed. And you know what? I felt sorry for him. He walked down the tunnel. He came back out the tunnel. I mean, you know what? I can only feel for him. At the end of the day, he left a good thing. He was at Bologna. He was doing well. He was in the Serie A team of the season. You know, and he came to Man United. And, you know, Man United is a big step. The thing with Man United, and it doesn't work for everyone. Man United is obviously a very, very big animal. It is a big shirt. It's a heavy shirt. Look, these players can play for Man United, and they're standing on the shoulders of giants. Giants. You know, I mean, you're talking about Eric Cantona, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Sir Alex Ferguson, Peter Schmeichel. You know, you're talking about absolute giants. And these players are dwarves on shoulders. They can't even look over the fence. That is the problem with these players at Man United. And to be honest with you, we spent years building this legacy over the last 30, 40 years of being the best team in Europe twice in the last 30 years. You know what I mean? Being the best team in the world twice in the last 30 years. You know what I mean? And this is why, look at the fall from grace. To be honest with you, it's like Man United are the Real Madrid, the AC Milan, the Bayern Munich of England. And to be honest with you, we're not even acting like the Southampton of England at the moment. And this is absolutely concerning, guys, in my opinion, to be honest. Rasta, Self-sabotage, I think that's what's happening to our club over the years. One thing our former manager was right about, era do come to an end. One thing I would say is that Man United's era is, at the moment, way over there. You know what I mean? It's gone. And Man United need to now look at the things from now, look at it subjectively, and look at it in a way that, you know what, forget about, look, I said it the other day, right? There's two things you can do, right? You can look at your past and you can be inspired by your past, right? You can be inspired by Alex Ferguson. You can be inspired by him. Or you can look at your past and be burdened by your past. So you can be like, you can make the past give you pressure, or you can make the past influence you and inspire you. I want to be like them. Like, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo came to Man United as a one-trick pony, right? And people were making fun of him. I remember back in 2003, 2004, people were saying, oh, look at Cristiano Ronaldo, his little step-overs. I mean, he's... And that is the thing. You know what I mean? But he took it upon himself to be inspired and become the best in the world under the guidance of Sir Alex Ferguson. You know, I know it's Sir Alex Ferguson. I know what Sir Alex Ferguson did. I know Sir Alex Ferguson is a fantastic manager. Sir Alex Ferguson managed Cristiano Ronaldo very well. Sent Cristiano Ronaldo to Madeira. You know, said, oh, oi, Cristiano, go to Madeira for a couple of weeks, have a break. You know what I mean? That's what he used to do in the middle of the season. You know, at the end of the day. And he knew the ability and he knew the work ethic. But the problem with these players is not just about work, about ability. You know, it's the fact is Man United have never had the best team in the world, best players individually in the world. They haven't. There's been players during when I was growing up. You know, you look at David Beckham, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, and Ryan Giggs. You know, you can't say they're better than, you know, what some of the other teams in Europe that, you know, were out there at the time. You know, but what they did is that they had the underlying work ethic and team ethic there, that they made the most out of the talents that they were given. Now, if you give 100% in everything you do, apart from giving blood, you can't give 100% of blood, but every other thing you do, you know, if you give 100%, more or less, you know what, you will get more than what you bargained for. You will be rewarded, especially if you have talent on top of that, you know. And to be honest with you, I don't see any effort from this team. I see we're going 1-0 down. You don't know where a goal's going to come from. And it's pathetic, in my opinion. Ciao. I think time to protest, Jim Ratcliffe. Glazers out, full sale, debt cleared. I've always been like that from the beginning of, since I wore my green and gold scarf at Old Trafford, I've always been like that. You know what? Sometimes people need to look at things. You know what? Look at a situation and look at it from above. Look, I was right about Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag was not solely to blame, and this is perfectly the example why he's not solely to blame. I was right about Marcus Rashford being a problem, and he's become the problem, hasn't he? Just as with other players were, like Pogba and Lingard and that from before. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, look, you know what? I've watched a lot of football in my life. I've seen a lot of players come and go. I've seen big players being kicked out of the club. Big players. I'm talking about winners at the football club being kicked out of the club. You know, I want to see a more of a ruthless side. There's too much player power. There's too much player. I mean, players nowadays, for example, look, you know, when you're a multi-millionaire at 20 years old, right? And you've got to go out the pitch and you're going to play a difficult game in the Premier League, right? Back in the day, and I hate bringing it back in the day, but this is the benchmark that we have to look at, because this is why we are here today. We are here today because of what we did in the past, right? If Man United were in League Two, would I be here on a stream talking to you guys? Would you guys be Man United fans? You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I'm going to use Man United's past as a benchmark at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And that's what I will always do. Because at the end of the day, Sir Alex Ferguson, right, lost the league title in 1995 to Blackburn Rovers by 1 point. We were 1 goal from winning the title, the league, right? The next season, he got rid of 6-7 players. And those were winners. Those were winners. These players right now couldn't lace the boots of any one of those players. It's like I said the other day, is that some of these players couldn't lace Luke Chadwick's boots, Ben Thornley's boots, Phil Moran's boots, you know, Terry Cook's boots. They couldn't do that. Some of these players don't have the effort, ability, pride that these players have. And these players weren't good enough to play for Man United. We talk about Juan Sebastian Veron, who was notoriously a failure at Man United, apparently. He'll walk into this team as our best player. And this is a damning, isn't it? This is damning what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And we have to be honest here. We really do have to be honest here, guys. We really do. Our players are not good enough. Happy New Year, Pearl. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Hope you're good. Well, look at the bright side. It's 0-0. It's still 0-0 versus... It's not even started, mate. It's not even started. What's the point of get Amram out of the Sporting in the middle of the season and then tell him to work with United players and typical Glazing? I'm absolutely, child. You know what? I expected Man United to sign a couple of players in January. It's the least that Ruben Amram deserves. Ruben Amram deserves a couple of players in January of his own. Right? Do you know what I mean? Even if it's a loan, do you know what I mean? He deserves a couple of players in January, in my opinion. If we lose 5-0, come on, Pearl, don't be like that. Come on, my friend. At the end of the day, look, anything can happen. Nottingham Forest beat Liverpool. I know Nottingham Forest are second in the league. I know that, but at the end of the day, Nottingham Forest beat Liverpool. Fulham drew with Liverpool. It is possible if you play your cards right. Unfortunately, we have a bunch of players. I don't know what is wrong with them, whether it's a mental thing, a physical thing, a talent thing. I don't know what it is, guys, because at the end of the day, we could bring in anyone right now. And we were speaking about it last night on the stream. We were talking about, what we could bring in, Haaland, and we can bring in Bernardo Silva, and we can bring in Odegaard, and we can bring in, all these players under the sun, Rodgers, and they will be bad at Man United. They will be bad at Man United. It will be the same thing. It will just be the same thing. Another bit of history repeated. These players will be declining again, of course. Greetings, Jim. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, of course. Absolutely. Good to see you. Good morning, Rand Sanjay. Good morning, Sanjay. Rashford can rot in hell. Absolutely, UK Darren. Thank you very much. Yesterday, someone came on my stream and said, why am I criticizing Marcus Rashford? Listen, let me remind you what generation I come from, right? Mark Hughes, Andy Cole, Eric Cantona, Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Scholes, right? I come from a generation that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't get in the team and Teddy Sheringham couldn't get in the team. I come from that generation. Dimitar Berbatov couldn't get in the team. I come from that, right? So you're talking about Marcus Rashford because he scored over 100 plus goals. How many are penalties, right? How many are penalties? And number two, he's had about 500 appearances, 100 goals. In my humblest opinions, that is a poor ratio. You know what I mean? You're talking about some players out there who got 1 in 2 in 1 goals. You know what I mean? 1 in 2. I mean, at the end of the day, he ain't even got 1 in 5, 1 in 10. And that obviously is an issue, of course. Jim, if we don't show the ambition, 2 transfer windows, Amin might walk. And if that happens, I mean, I have heard, Jim, that, yesterday he spoke about it and it did sound quite damning, to be honest with you. It sounded like he said, if you don't want to do my tactics, if you don't want to work with me, I'm going to just walk, basically. It's basically what he said, isn't it? We are losing 7-0, maybe more. No, we're not going to lose 7-0. Let's not overreact, guys. Let's not overreact. That's just sensationalist. We're not going to do that. It's going to be different. We'll lose. I'm not going to say that. I wouldn't say we might lose 3-4-0, but 10-0 and all that. Come on, guys. So we're Manchester United. It's not going to be like that. But it will be bad. I know it hurts. But we have to move on and try and believe, guys. At the end of the day, look, we have to weather this storm. We know Liverpool's coming. We know we'll probably lose to Liverpool unless, something happens miraculously. But one thing I would say is that let's just, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's the badge. And to be honest with you, I don't like thinking about losing 10-0 to Liverpool because that hurts me. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, we might lose to Liverpool. And even it hurts me saying that. But you know what? No team has lost 10-0 in the history of football. You know what I mean? In England, 9-0 is the highest. So let's just be calm, guys. Let's just be a little bit more, you know what I mean, relaxed. Because at the end of the day, we knew we're going to feel a little bit of pain this season. We did, didn't we? At the end of the day, I can see the telly being turned off 20 minutes on Sunday. Big up UK down. I'm here for you, brother. I'm here for you. Don't worry about it. Or smashed. Get insurance, UK Darren. Get insurance before you go. Before you watch the game, get insurance. Costa. Yeah, I had to have a strong coffee this morning, guys. Absolutely, yeah. Chow, it still be here, support United, even if we get relegated. Yeah, we're always going to be here to support Man United, no doubt about it. The people who, and Chow, a big respect to you, mate, because you said some good things this last 24 hours in regards to supporting your football team. We know it's not the manager. We know that. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, whether Man United get relegated, we're still going to be here supporting the football club. You know what I mean? That is what it's going to be. Some people are saying that Man United may need a relegation. You know what I mean? I don't know about that. That is extremely extreme, but they do have a slight point, don't they? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And, you know, if it happens, then we'll be here, guys. We'll be here with our auto window screens Manchester United shirt here with the Umbro sign back. Do you know what I mean? That's at the end of the day. And so be it. If that's what it takes, then so be it. You know what I mean? We'll be here supporting the football club anyway. You know what I mean? In fact, I'll go to Manchester and I'll gladly go to the games. I'll support them. Jim, so I watched nearly the whole match on replay. Goal one yeah, Maguire's lost his chance of a new contract, guys. I believe that Maguire is not good enough. Jim, we were talking about it yesterday. You know what I mean? Was it day before yesterday or yesterday about Maguire not being quality, not being at the required quality, of course? Goals for George. How can a manager that is supposed to be ruthless and elite continue persisting with Dalot, who is the team feeding the balls, passes backwards and opens? One thing I would consider, and you know, no one's perfect, Goals for George, right? And I would say a couple of things, right? The two things that he's doing wrong is obviously Dalot and obviously Eriksen in the midfield shouldn't be, well, it's back three, and Bruno playing when he's available. Those are the things. Eriksen shouldn't be playing in that midfield. When Kobe Mainoo came on, the shape sort of balanced itself out, didn't it? You know, Dalot shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. He's not good enough. I'm sorry, guys. And I've been saying it for weeks and weeks and months and months. But he's not the only one. He's not the only one. I would say that, you know what, we can't individualize it too much. But then you look at things and you balance it. Who's he really got, to be honest with you? Then I think about the young players. And I think, you know, every single time I think about the youth team, Alex Ferguson's voice resonates in my head. And it's like, young players, youth players, will seldom let you down. They won't let you down. You know, if you don't give youth a chance, they will stagnate. You know, and I start thinking about that. And I'm start thinking that play the youth, mate. Play the youth. Dalot, I mean, look, guys, could it get any worse? Could it get any worse? We're near the relegation zone, guys. Could it get any worse by playing a couple of young players in there? Harry Amas coming in there. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not? Why not play Obi Martin instead of having Marcus Rashford on the bench? Why not put Obi Martin on the bench? Why, if you knew that you're not going to play Marcus Rashford, why didn't you put Obi Martin on the bench? Maybe give him some minutes. You know what I mean? Get him some experience. I guarantee he wouldn't have done what, I mean, we wouldn't have saw what we saw. Big up. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Guys, let me just read through the post-match comments from Ruben Amram, guys. Of course, guys, let's get into this real quickly. Ruben Amram, yes, it's embarrassing about being in the relegation zone. It's also my fault in this moment because I think the team know it's not improved. It's a little bit lost in this moment. It's embarrassing being Man United coach and losing a lot of games. It is embarrassing. And you know what? Someone with the standards of Ruben Amram will know it's embarrassing. You know, there you go. He goes on to say, maybe in regards to his tactics, maybe or you continue with your idea and they have to change the coach. It is a choice that everyone look. I want you to read this, guys, and I want you to understand. If you want to change the philosophy, if you want to change my style of football, you change the coach. Basically saying I will leave if I have to change. And exactly what I said is success does not come in the compromise. You do not compromise on success. If your philosophy has been working over the last decades, 20 years, you stick to that philosophy. You don't have this, I'm going to change it now. Let me change it again and change it again. That's not how you get success. You stay persistent. Sir Alex Ferguson did the same, of course. It is a choice that everyone has to make in football. If I think this is the best thing for the team, I will continue to pass my message easily. He says, we show some improvements in the first games, especially City, Tottenham, and the first half against Arsenal. We are losing that because of the lack of training and lack of belief after so many losses. Yes, you know what? As I said, that losing is a habit and an addiction kind of thing, isn't it? You know what? You can become used to losing, and you can become used to winning as well. It's a bit like when a goal scorer hasn't scored for a couple of games. You start playing like you got a fridge on your back. And I think Man United are playing like they got a fridge on their back. They're playing with no freedom. They're playing with the scared. They're scared. They're intimidated. When the opposition should be intimidated, not Man United players should be intimidated. The opposition should be intimidating. But Man United players are intimidated. They don't want to tackle. They don't want to try anything different, exuberant. They don't want to try anything. And to be honest with you, they need to fix up, because this is Manchester United. Either fix up or leave the football club and go and sign for another team in Europe, because we're tired of it. To be honest, with the fear factor, the cowardice, of course. Ruben Aram also said, it is not the case that I arrive and I can spend a lot of money changing all the team. You know that situation, so there is no point talking about that. In regards to the transfer window in January, of course, it's going to be very difficult to bring in some players unless Man United do a deal, of course, with obligation to buy. If they do a deal with an obligation to buy, maybe then they could, make something happen. But at the moment, I'm saying this is that it's going to be difficult for Man United to bring in any significant buys in the January transfer window. Although Ineos, they better start, because Ineos are making people redundant. Ineos have sacked loads of 250 people, isn't it? 250 people. Okay, right. 1 week of Marcus Rashford's wage, right, would save about how many jobs, guys? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Jim Ratcliffe is sacking people, and you know what? He said he wants success on the pitch. This is what Jim Ratcliffe said. He said he wants success on the pitch. So in January, we want to see evidence that you want success on the pitch. That's what we want to see, don't we? You know what I mean? So obviously he's on a ticking time bomb. In regards to Xerxes, you have to think about the team and also sometimes about the player, as the player was suffering. I felt the team was suffering and needed another midfielder. Exactly what I said yesterday. He brought in an extra midfielder yesterday, I felt. Maybe he needs to stop playing three. I've been saying a long time, guys, about the three at the back. I've been saying it, you know what I mean? I'm not a fan of it. I never will be. Most teams these days don't play it. He also said, we have to continue to push. We've had 4 trainings altogether. I know what you guys are trying to do, but I'm here because of my idea. It's really difficult moment. We have to address it with honesty. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a difficult time, of course, guys. It's a difficult time. If I change the system completely, I do not know if I am nearer to winning. If I change the system and continue to lose, then it's worse. Absolutely. There you go. So you don't know, and I don't know. I see the game in a different way. Absolutely. Look, Erik ten Hag had a relatively easy system to adopt. Erik ten Hag had an easy system to adopt, guys, and it didn't work, did it? So what are we going to do? We have to play a Goo Gaga bloody system for these low IQ players that don't know how to play football. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, systems, schmistems, who cares about systems? Give your all. I'm not seeing a system problem here. I'm seeing an effort and application problem. That's what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? It's nothing to do with systems and tactics and stuff like that. You know, who cares? You know what I mean? Give your all on the pitch. They're not doing that. Ridiculous, isn't it? People are tired. Ruben Amorim said, and I love this quote, people are tired of excuses at this club. This club needs a shock. There you go, guys. Similar to what Ralph Ragnick said, open heart surgery Man United need. And he is absolutely spot on. This is a similar comment to that, in my opinion. People are tired of excuses at this club. This club needs a shock. Spot on. He said, when you have a change of coach, especially in the type of club, it's because they are not winning in that moment. After 2 years of playing that system, working in the pre-seasons, they were losing. Absolutely. And let's not forget, Ruben Amorim hasn't even had a pre-season. He hasn't had a transfer window either. So let's not forget about that as well. This is very, very important as a manager. He said, we have to be really clear. We are losing a lot of games. That is the problem. We have to address that and focus on the next game. The only way to get out of this moment is to win games no matter what. Yeah, spot on. Definitely. We don't have the possibility in January. You know that situation. So that is very, very clear, guys. I told you guys that if we were going to sign a player, it'd probably be one if we're lucky. We don't have, and thank you very much, Ineos. Congratulations, Ineos, for taking the 27%. Mad. I just want to win games. I never watched a coach win games by not protecting his players. What I say to them, I will say in the dressing room. Here I am responsible. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ruben Amorim is a gentleman. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's not going to bring his players and throw his players under the bus. He'll say what he needs to say in the dressing room. Absolutely. I don't think you should air your dirty laundry in front of the media, especially the media that are pro-anti-Man United, of course, guys. So it's no point ever, talking about the problems individually in regards to players and stuff like that, in my opinion. So I'm going to change for that system. I played under Ten Hag that I don't believe in to change things and win games. It doesn't make sense. Absolutely. So the system that basically played on exactly what I just said, the system that it played under Ten Hag that didn't work, what he's going to change it back to that system that doesn't work. So then he's going to lose on the system that isn't his. Why don't we just start saying that these players are just crap? Why don't we just say that and that they can't play the system? Why don't we just say that? Why don't we just say that these players are lazy, overprivileged sport brats? Why don't we just say that? You know what I mean? I don't like to arrive here and make excuses. I think people are tired of excuses in this club. I talk about relegation because our club needs a shock, It's a shock, and we have to understand that. Guys, look, he's basically saying here, right? And this is very damning. He's basically saying Man United might need a relegation to have a shock to the system. Maybe then the Glazers might leave the football club, basically. Maybe if Man United do get a relegation, the Glazers will leave the football club. Maybe that happens. Who knows? That might happen, of course. Of course. So that was Ruben Amorim. Make of that what you will, guys. Very, very hard-hitting comments from Ruben Amorim. Very hard-hitting comments from him. Very, very honest as well. And that's what I like about Ruben Amorim. He's a very, very honest manager, of course, guys. Very honest. Goals for George. The fans will turn on Dalot because he's frustrating as hell. Teams don't even bother to mark him. But he's not good enough, mate. I'll be honest. Goals for George, he's not good enough. I'll be honest. I know, I don't want to say it, but it's hurting. I know, brother. I know it's hurting me too, man. You know what? Let's just think about it when it comes. And at the end of the day, we have to just wait and see when it comes, that game comes. I'm not looking forward to it. That's one thing, of course. I'm forever supporting Loving Man all the way. Big up, Jim. Big up, Jim. Randy. Good morning, Randy. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Hope you recovered from the elements last night. Good to see you last night. I'm so hurt, even though I expected a drubbing. It's mad, isn't it? Dalot had Eric Ten Hag sacked single-handedly. Dalot, yeah, there you go. And there's a Dalot FC. Can you believe it? There is actually a Dalot FC out there. Can you actually be it? We are loyal Reds in the stream, just angry the way things are going at the moment. We are all loyal Reds, mate. We will never turn against our team, though. We'll never throw the towel in because at the end of the day, we've been through worse disasters, haven't we, Darren? You know what I mean? And we're the lucky ones because we were born in the time where Man United were on the up, isn't it? And at the end of the day, I started supporting Man United around 1989, 1990. And, you could see something developing and brewing, and then we won the FA Cup in 1990. We didn't win the league until 1993, of course. But, we're always on an upward trajectory. And you can always see that. And I always believed in Alex Ferguson. I have a similar feeling with Alex Ferguson as I've had with Ruben Amorim right now. I really do. Jim, I don't want us to lose 10 or 7 or 4-0. No way ever in the pain and hurt that the team love and anger. But talking, brother, I always want us to win. I agree, Jim. I know, Jim. I know. But, you know what? Thinking about the Liverpool game right now is absolutely doing my head in. You know, I mean, Liverpool are scoring 5s and 6s at the moment. You know, they won 6-3 against West Ham. They won 5-0 against 5-0 against West Ham. They won 6-3 against Spurs. You know what I mean? I don't want us to lose to anyone else. Absolutely, none of us do. Big up, Jim. Dalot is going to Amram Sats. Mark my words. He needs to drop him. He needs to drop him. He's not good enough. Ante is more suited to being a wing-back than Dalot. You know what? I can't disagree, UK Dan. At the moment, I'm not going to disagree with anything in regards to team selection because the team that was on the pitch yesterday absolutely stunk the place out. And you know what? It's one of the worst performances I've ever seen in the first half an hour in particular. Randy, Amram is racist if he selects Dalot again. Racist? You mean xenophobic? Xenophobic. Racist? I don't think he's a racist. Wow. So if United do get relegated and Glazers are in Ineos leave and I don't want them, then we get relegated. But if things come to the crunch and they don't give Amram the support, then I'd be happy. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I find it ironic and a comedian that channels like yours who stood with Erik ten Hag till the very end are defending Amram absolutely, whereas the Erik ten Hag channels are Amram out. Sad, really. You know, the Erik ten Hag channels, the Out Brigade, they don't understand football, mate. I'll say it straight up. I would happily get any one of those guys without the use of Google on this channel to try and school me about football. I want them to teach me about football because they seem to know everything, don't they? Maybe they should go and manage the football team. Maybe they should go in there. They can't even manage their own cholesterol, guys, and they're talking about managing managers out. Look at the rings under their bloody eyes. For goodness sake, look, you know what I mean? They're not less said about that, the better, of course. Kazi, good morning. How are you doing, Kazi? I hope you're doing well. He's a coach in Champions League team and was on the way to win the Premier League to coach this rubbish team. Kazi, absolutely. And the thing is, people forget about what he was doing in the Champions League. People will throw out the fact that, oh, he's managing in Portugal. Portugal's a weak league, blah, blah, blah. Forgetting that he was smashing the Champions League. And look at Sporting Lisbon since he's left as well. These players, man, they need to be taken to court. Xerxes must be loaned out, not sold. Well, I don't think we can sell him. I don't think anyone's going to pay the money round. Happy New Year, Sal, brother. Best wishes. Happy New Year, Jim. Big up, Jim. Hope your 2025 is blessed. I hope all of your 2025 is blessed. And guys, look, I hope that things get better for us in 2025 because let's be quite frank, right? 2024 has been quite shit, hasn't it? And to be honest with you, we have had a terrible time, to be honest, guys. And it can only get better. Well, I hope so. Starting with Liverpool. The club needs relegation to get rid of Glazers and Rats. Man, yeah. I mean, if they leave. So, did you see the days ago, Cristiano said something wise words about our Manchester United? Yes, I've got the quotes up, guys. I've got the quotes in regards to that. I had the quotes up here. I want to repeat something that Cristiano Ronaldo said about Manchester United. And it's something that I've been repeating and talking about and banging the drum on for many, many years, guys. This is Cristiano Ronaldo just the other day.
About United.
I say this 1 year and a half ago, and I will continue to say, the problem is not the coaches. It's like, I'm always give this example, I will try right now to see if it's going well. It's like the Aquarius. If you have the fishing inside and he's sick and you take him out and you fix the problem, and if you put it again in Aquarius, they will be sick again. And this is the problem of Manchester United. Is the same. The problem is not only the coach, it's much more than that.
And do you think that is still the case at Old Trafford?
100%. If I will be the owner of the club, I will make the things clear and adjust what I think it's bad.
You see,
there.
I'm now joining the dots. Is that the plan? Have you spoken to the Glazers?
I'm still very young. I have so many plans and dreams ahead. But mark my words, I will be owner of a big club, for sure.
There you go, guys. And what did he say there? What did he say there about the Aquarius? About you can take a fish who is sick out of the pond. You can make the fish better, but you put the fish back in the same pond, the fish is going to be sick again, right? That is exactly what I've been saying for months and months and months and months. There you go, from one of the most elite athletes out there. He said exactly the same in a different analogy. I call it bad eggs. One bad fruit ruins the fruit bowl, you know, and that's exactly what I've been saying. And that is exactly what I've been saying for a long time now. Listen to Cristiano Ronaldo. You know what I mean? Listen to him. And at the end of the day, he speaks absolute truth. Goodness me. I would love Cristiano Ronaldo to buy the club from the Glazers. That would be flipping fantastic, of course. He's still young, though, of course. I don't think he has 6 billion spare, though. I know he's rich. I don't think he has that much. Right. There you go, Jim. That was it. The outers are rising again. Yeah, let the outers rise again at the end of the day. How can you trust someone who talks about Erik ten Hag out, Ruben Amorim out? You know what I mean? They should be McDonald's out, because looking at them, their bloody cholesterol's all the way through the roof. So they need to just be quiet and stop talking about sport. Goals for George. Amorim is too stubborn for these own good. Just get Malaki, Sharp, Matato, etc. first athletic wingers who can defend. And I'm just went on that. Yeah, look, you know what? I'm saying it, George. You've been saying it as well. We just need to bring them through. We need to bring through some young players, guys, who really do. At the end there, we do need to bring through some kids. Guys, I want to show you my player ratings. I know it doesn't really make any difference to everyone, but this is the player ratings, the result of the player ratings poll on my Twitter and everything, of course, guys. So here we are. This is the player ratings for the game yesterday. Onana 4.7, useless. Delict 4.6, didn't do well yesterday. Maguire had a poor game, 4.4. Martinez got a 4.8 for me. Not the best captain's performance, in my opinion. Mazraoui 4.7. He's getting worse now. I mean, he was getting 6, 7s, and 8s, wasn't he? Now he's getting 5, 6s, and 4s. Eriksen a 4.2. Slow, lethargic, lazy. Casemiro 4.3. Slow, lethargic, lazy. Dalot 3.4. Useless. Xerxes got pulled off 2.7. Sad for him, but you know what? Just not good enough again. 4.4 for Ahmed. Again, that's the 4th game in a row that Ahmed has been poor. Guys, let's remember that whilst we're throwing Garnacho under the bus. And Rasmus Højlund a 4.1. Held the line, but you know what? Not effective at all, guys. Absolutely not effective whatsoever. In regards to the substitutions, Kobe Mainu, 6.8. Garnacho a 6. Euro a 6. And Anthony a 5. In my opinion, yeah. Now, this is from my Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So, guys, you can vote for that on there. And, guys, if you want to vote, of course, guys. The manager got a 5.5. We can't really say much about that because he's lost the game, hasn't he? He's lost the game, so he got 5.5 out of 10, to be honest with you. And I feel for him. I feel for him. It's not going well, but you know what? We have to stick with it. We have to be persistent. And we can't overreact, of course. My man of the match, as chosen by everyone, of course, is Kobe Mainu. Kobe Mainu came on and changed the game for me, in my opinion. Absolutely changed the dynamic of the game. And Man United started to put a little bit of pressure on Newcastle, didn't they? You know what I mean? And, yeah, it's a shame we didn't start like that, of course. You know what I mean? And play that formation from the beginning. But that is just, I had to give you the ratings, the player ratings, of course. Absolutely. Sal, are the Amorim outers already who they are? Yeah, we know who they are. Absolutely. By defending our manager is defending our club. By defending our manager is defending our club. Defending our club, we have to defend the manager because the problem is not the manager. And by continually slandering the manager and sacking managers, right, it's harming the club. You know what I mean? And that's what it's doing, because at the end of the day, we're getting into a system, right, where we have a bunch of players that are not Amorims. Right, they're Erik ten Hag's mainly, right? And other managers before that. And we have a backlog of players there. We're sacking managers, we're impatient, and we sack them again, and we go back to square one. Now we're worse, ain't we? You know what I mean? Sacking managers is not the way forward at Man United. Who else are we going to get? We got one of the best young managers in Europe now. Erik ten Hag was one of the best managers in Europe, remember? You know what I mean? You know, big up, Candy, big up everyone, of course. Big up, Randy, hey, Jim, big up everyone. Hope you're having a prosperous new year, of course, guys. Absolutely. So, does a manager not look into the eyes of the players before a game to see if they have the eyes of the tiger before a game? Xerxes looks scared, heavy off the... I mean, at the moment, maybe he looks at the team and thinks, you know what? This player costs that much. This player costs that much. There must be something about them. I look at Xerxes. He was player of the year at Bologna. You know, I look at these players, you know, they've got so many appearances for Man United. But now what I would say, it's very difficult to just bring in 10 youth players. You know what I mean? But I would bring in about 5. I would bring in about 5. I would keep a few of those players in there. Obviously, Mazraoui, De Ligt. I would keep in there, of course, guys. Ugarte, of course, I would keep. And I would bring in some youth players. I really would do that. I think it's a blessing for Man United to do that. I really do. I think Man United need to do that. Really do. Big up, Jim. Martinez a 2 for me at fault for both goals. I think Maguire had a part to play as well. I mean, the whole defense was poor. I mean, but a 2 is like absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? It's like, but that was the ratings of my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter combined. So it's poor though, isn't it? 4, you know, 4. We're getting 4s, guys. You know, I mean, that is poor. Big up, Dylan. Ratings too high for the mugs. I agree, mate. I agree. For his passion and trying, I know you gave him a 5, but I'll give him a 10 for just pure and showing passion. Mine is different type of rate. Yeah, I agree. I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. He did change the game, but obviously we lost the game in it. So other people are going to, I mean, I'm going to work out how to get the ratings on YouTube. I don't quite know how to get player ratings on here. So I need to get some player ratings on here. And then obviously we'll see what happens and stuff like that, of course. Not game ratings are for showing anger on the sidelines. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, look, you know what? I'm firmly in the Ruben Amorim in camp, as people know. I'm going to be backing the manager all the way to the end because I've seen this story before. This is Groundhog Day, of course, guys. This is Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. We have seen this story before. So, guys, look, you know what? One thing I would say is that don't fall on the wayside. Don't do stuff. Don't start going Amorim, as these clowns do on other channels. I don't do that. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, I'm not going to be that for a long time, guys. And to be honest with you, because I know the situation. I told you guys before Erik ten Hag was sacked, changing the manager is not going to make a flying difference. And people are saying, oh, but these players are better than they're showing. They're better than they're showing, or they're still better than they're showing. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, look, you know, we need to restore some form of balance into the Man United hierarchy. Do you know what I mean? Yes, the biggest problem at Manchester United is the Glazers. I firmly believe the Glazers are a curse. You know what I mean? I firmly believe that Man United need to get a priest or a Mulvey Saab to Old Trafford to do a little prayer over the ground, over the pitch. Because at the moment, nothing seems to work. And to be honest with you, you know, we're at a disillusion. We're disillusioned by what's going on. But one thing you will always remain consistent with me is that I'm not going to throw the manager under the bus. And I'm not going to do that. And to be honest with you, I urge everyone, I can't tell how you guys think, but I can say that I would urge that all of you do not do that, because we know the problems at Man United. Regardless what you think about the team selection, yesterday was not a team selection and system problem, right? At the end of the day, the problem was a effort, application. Now, a manager can lead a cow to the river. It doesn't mean the cow's going to drink the water from the river. It doesn't mean that. And that is exactly what I say, you know, at the end of the day. And he can shout at his players, scream at his players, give your all, Manchester United through and through, 1958, 1968, 1974. He can talk about all that, all he likes. He can take them around the stadium. If these players don't want to play, if these players are, you know what Ferrari am I going to buy at the end of the week? You know, I don't know. I might buy a new house. I might buy a house in Marbella. You know, if they got that type of mentality, you know what I mean? How are they going to have any edge? I mean, we do need a Roy Keane sort of character in this football club. We do. Absolutely. I absolutely concur with that. Paul, if anyone, Ruben, gets sacked, he will be happy to join Sporting and go up to quarterfinals with those. Absolutely, mate. With average players. Know what I mean? Who give their all. So, really feeling so sorry for Amorim. No matter who he starts as subs, they are no playing him. They're not playing for him. His hands are tied. They're not playing for him, mate. They're not. There's a cult at Man United that runs deep. And this cult is a bit like a masonry, right? And there'll be one player, right? One player who doesn't want to play. And he says, you know what? You better not play. If you want to survive at this football club, you make sure you sack this manager. These things happen. These sinister things happen at football clubs. They do. And to be honest with you, there are ringleaders. There's cults within the dressing room. There's things like that. Do you know what I mean? You know, you saw Marcus Rashford yesterday was put on the bench. He shouldn't have been on the bench. He should have been Obi Martin on the bench. But you saw his face, isn't it? He wasn't happy. He wasn't, you know, I mean, and we don't need these type of characters at Man United. Absolutely not. I thought for Eric Ten Hag until I saw Dalot kick the ball over the bar from 6 yards out. Wow, I remember that. Yeah. Purposely, Randy. Yeah. Don't you think relegation can be a blessing in disguise? Pick yourself up and all over again. I mean, Afro Soup, it's all subjective. It's all subjective. It is hypothetical scenarios. Guys, you get relegated, right? Let me tell you something about football. As I was raised next to a team in League One, guys, called Leyton Orient, right? Championship, who are owned by Barry Hearn, by the way, who owns Matchroom Sports, who are the biggest boxing promoters in the world, Joshua, all them people, right? If you're talking about that, guys, obviously. So I would say that even if Man United get relegated to the Championship, guys, we're not going to get automatically given to go back up. That league is difficult, guys. When you're playing in a tight little ground with 5,000 people in the freezing cold on a Tuesday night, guys, it's not easy. You know what I mean? You guys think it's easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. And you know what, Man United, it's going to be difficult. You know what I mean? Maybe it might work for Man United. I mean, if I was to balance it out, guys, if I was to say, right, put on the spot, gun to head, and someone said to me right now, Sal, you can get relegated right now and the Glazers leave the football club and Jim Ratcliffe leaves the football club. And let's say, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo buys the football club, right? Let's say that. Or Qatar. Would I say yes? I probably would. Yeah. I would say get Man United a relegation. Let's reset. Let's start again. Let's get our philosophies right. Let's get back to basics. And let's go from there. We're not going to get relegated, though, guys. Remember these words. We're not going to get relegated anyway. We're too good to go down. Famous last words, of course, guys. Guys, thank you, everyone who's joined me today. Absolute legends. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And please don't forget to smash a like. I know it ain't really it ain't really positive these days, but you know what? Things can only get better, but you know what? I urge you guys and all the Ten Hag supporters, I urge you to show the same character as you did with Ten Hag because the same problems are there. You know what? Ruben Amorim represents people like Eric Ten Hag. You know what I mean? And I would say that. And we need to understand that. You know what I mean? And understand that the problems run deep. And Ruben Amorim is finding that out right now, of course, guys. I warned you, second time we'll have relegated and it's coming, Randy. We were there from the beginning, weren't we? They're not going to get relegated. There will be no Tommy Doggy waiting for us if we go down. We can slide even further in the mud. Yeah. Big up, Star. Big up, everyone. Big up, Randy. Big up, everyone on the stream. Much big legends you are. Thank you so much for joining me. You absolute diamonds. Cheer up, guys. You know what? Eventually, we will see the light, and the light at the end of the tunnel will come. And you know what? We will get to the promised land where we deserve to be, guys. I promise you, guys. Believe me, we will get there. We're just through a very bad patch at the moment, but with everything, with every single bit of pain, there is a positive. There is a sunshine at the end of the tunnel. You have to do that. You can't appreciate the sun until you feel a better rain. You can't appreciate joy until you feel a bit of pain. That's what I would say, guys. So at the end of the day, keep at it. Don't give up. And you know what? Believe in the club, most of all, the club. If you don't want to believe in the players, believe in the club, believe in the manager. That's what I'll say to you guys. Take it easy, guys. Have a fabulous day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Take it easy, guys. Peace.